This week it's a mama confession. Ooh. Parenting, man, it's big stuff. And this week, let's see, twice in the last couple of weeks, I went for a walk with a girlfriend and totally sort of confessed this thing that's been really bothering me. And of course, getting those words out into the world gives opportunity for them to heal and be fixed and be attended to. So my 4-year-old, whom I love with all my heart, of course, has been freaking me out lately. I would swear here, but I'm gonna keep it clean and just go, oh my goodness, totally freaking me out. He's saying things like, I hate everyone, I'm dumb, people are boring. And he's been saying this kind of stuff for a while. And I guess for a little while I thought, oh, it'll just go away. It's been months. It's not really going away. And it's triggering me, man. It's making me bring attention to a lot of things. But it does feel like he knows exactly how to push my buttons. So his energy feels really different than his words. His presence, his being feels like classic little boy, well-adjusted little man. It feels creative, grounded, secure, gentle, loving. Like his energy feels really good to me. But his words are gross. No one wants to hear their kids say, like, I hate everyone. Everyone's dumb. I'm dumb. People are boring. It just is ick, ick, ick. It doesn't feel good. So I want to believe that his words are just words, and most of the time I do believe that. But there's a little piece of me that thinks, what if my kid turns out to be crazy? What if he's depressed? What if he lives a miserable life? And those aren't fun thoughts, right? It just doesn't feel good. It's not fun. So then I do what I know how to do. I listen. So I listen to him. I redirect the conversation as best I can, and I use it as a teaching opportunity. So I ask myself, what's the lesson that's asking to be taught here? How can I use this as a teaching opportunity? And the answer is kindness. That feels really clear to me. And so I say to him, hey, bud, do you know what our job is in the world? We're here for a really important job. Do you know what that is? And he says, what? And I say to be kind to ourselves and to others. First to ourselves and then to others. We must always choose kindness. And so in that moment, what it does is it sort of just breaks state. It kind of just breaks both of our state. It breaks my fear, and it breaks his kind of cranky, miserable words. And it triggers us both to just stop and think. And he doesn't argue with me. I've done this many, many times now. He doesn't argue with me, and I'm not ignoring his words. I'm not discounting them. I'm not countering them by saying, like, you need to love yourself, or don't say that, don't ever say that, or people aren't boring. Or so it's not me directly discounting his words. We just both take a moment and let that soak in. What is our job here in the world? And does that mean that doing this, that he someday won't turn out to be crazy, depressed, or miserable? I don't know. Only time will tell. But right now, all I have is this moment, and that's how I'm choosing to engage in it. And I really do think it is sinking in a bit. Like, I asked him this morning before school, which sort of made me think to write this as a blog post. I went, hey, bud, what's our job in the world? And he said, to be nice. So you know what? We only have so much control, and I'm going to hope that this little lesson that I'm choosing to teach him really does sink in, and that him saying those things are an opportunity to come back to this lesson. So here's how I do the work. I think the thought, I ask a question, and then I take action. So the thought here is something along the lines of, my kid's damaged, like, my kid's a freak. What if he turns out to be crazy? And I ask then, who? My first question is who? Who does this thought belong to? And it really comes from fear. It comes from an attachment to a rising awareness in the world around mentally unstable human beings, and particularly kids and teens, and some of my own fears around what if that were my kid that was out in the world mentally unstable. Um, and so, yeah, there's a lot of that for me, particularly at this heightened time in our world. And then I asked my what question: what purpose does this thought serve? And thinking my kid is damaged, or that he's a freak in some way, or that he's, um, gonna live this terrible life, doesn't serve any purpose. None at all. There's no purpose to this thought. So then I asked my when question: when am I ready to release this thought? And the answer is now. Like, I don't need to hold on to that thought any reason for any future use. And so then I asked my where question: where do I need to put this thought next? And for me, that's just far away. I need to like sort of just destroy it. And so I imagine it in a bubble. I imagine exploding that bubble and just, yeah, destroying that thought. And then I asked my why question: why am I giving this thought power? And the answer is fear. It's a totally natural part of raising human beings, is to be fearful of who they will become and whether or not we're doing a good job. And it just is. It's part of parenting, fear. And so then I asked my how question. And my how question is: how can my why and or purpose lead me to my next action? And so my why is freedom. If you've been listening or paying attention to the blog, you know that very well by now. And so for me, parenting with a fear that my kid's a freak or damaged feels everything but free, right? There's nothing freeing in that thought. So freedom asks me to get rid of the thought and use the moment to share the most important message I can possibly share: kindness. So freedom, that's super, super duper important. And that's the work I displayed above. But freedom also reminds me of something else that I haven't talked about yet. And that is that if he does end up crazy, depressed, or miserable, this is his life to live here, and I can only do the best job I can to hold space for him to become a functioning, well-adjusted human being in the world. But I don't have control over lots and lots of things in his life. And so freedom reminds me that I can't control anyone else's experience here. And that I can't let anyone else's experience tie me down or cage me or keep me contained, even if it's the experience of a person who I love unconditionally and with all my heart, even if that person is my child. Whew. So this work is everything. It's so, so super important in all of our lives, in our businesses, in our parenting, in our relationships. And I hope it's helpful to me to just keep sharing bits of it with you. Please reach out and let me know, because sometimes I do feel like I'm sending this work out into the bubble and I don't know if anyone sees it. Sometimes I do get really incredible messages from people, and they're powerful. They remind me to keep going, and then I know that what I'm doing is helpful. And if it's not, I can redirect. And if it is, I can keep going. So I am always believing in you and what you are capable of in the world. Until next week, that's all for today. My goal is your growth, so I hope this was helpful to you. Please do reach out and let me know. And remember that we can work one-on-one together in the 9-week Live Your Why coaching program. You can find the link to that on the website. You can also listen to our co-hosted podcast, Creating Wealth and Wellness, free on iTunes or here on the website. And if you're interested in building residual income, check out the Join Our Networking Family link. Until next time, keep doing that thought work. I believe in you.